Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outer Rim Cantina. My name's Alan, and today I'm back for another Star Wars theory video. I haven't done one of these in a while, but with 3 episodes of The Mandalorian out now, I can't help but wonder if this new show will hold the key to Palpatine's surprising return for the Rise of Skywalker. I will be talking about spoilers for The Mandalorian in this video, just a heads up. Also, if you aren't caught up to episode 3 yet, this probably won't make a lot of sense, and also spoil the plot of the episode. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into my theory. In the first episode of The Mandalorian, our main character is tasked with tracking down an asset for the Imperial Remnant. Remember, this show is taking place 5 years after the Battle of Endor, so the Empire isn't exactly in power anymore. They do, however, still control some planets and sectors in the galaxy. Most people, though, just consider them warlords or syndicates instead of the Empire. The Remnants want to keep the job under wraps, not issuing an official bounty with the usual information about the target or asset. The Mandalorian takes the job in exchange for a container of Beskar, and when he reaches the asset, he discovers it's a baby of the same species as Yoda and Yaddle. We learn in episode 1 that Baby Yoda, as people have dubbed him, is 50 years old, highlighting the incredibly slow aging process of the species. Remember, Yoda was 900 years old when he passed away in Return of the Jedi. In episode 2, we learn that the baby Yoda is force sensitive when he lifts a mudhorn into the air to save the Mandalorian. In episode 3, we get to hear a bit of the conversation between Werner Herzog's Imperial client character and the Imperial scientist that we briefly saw in episode 1. In the piece of conversation we hear, the client asks the scientist about, quote, extracting all you need, and then terminating the asset. We later see that when the Mandalorian goes back into the hideout of the Imperial Remnant, that the scientist is keeping Baby Yoda alive and also running tests on it. The interesting thing here is that in the scene of Baby Yoda on some sort of operating table, one of the charts or graphs that we see looks very similar to the graph we see in The Phantom Menace after Qui-Gon measures Anakin's midichlorian count. This leads me to believe not only is the show itself very likely to dive into what midichlorians are, but that the scientist and Imperial Remnant is trying to study and understand midichlorians, as well as possibly learn how to harness the incredible aging powers of the Yoda species. Why would they do that? Because that could be the secret to bringing back Emperor Palpatine, either through the use of midichlorians, or somehow extracting the anti-aging properties from Baby Yoda and using them on a clone, or to somehow bring back Palpatine's physical body. Speaking of cloning, the scientist wears a Kaminoan symbol on his uniform, which further leads into the cloning theory. Now, most of the time I think that all the theories involving clones are stupid and entirely unfounded, but this one might actually be interesting. We know that Palpatine closed down the cloning facilities on Kamino after the creation of the Purge Troopers, but if he had his own Imperial scientists study the research of the Kaminoans, it's possible that this scientist knows the secret to making a perfect clone for Palpatine to inhabit. That clone, however, would also need to be force sensitive, and perhaps need a large number of midichlorians in its blood for it to even be possible for Palpatine's spirit to inhabit the body. The main drawback of the clone troopers was their accelerated aging, but maybe the DNA or genes inside of the Yoda species is the key to reversing accelerated aging, and thereby, again, making the perfect clone. Moving from The Mandalorian to The Rise of Skywalker, we know that the Empire and Imperial Remnant moved into the unknown regions as part of Palpatine's contingency plan. It's safe to assume that whatever planet the Bounty Hunter Guild and Imperial Remnant are on is somewhere in the Outer Rim, and possibly close to the unknown regions. This leads me to believe that this particular scientist might take the research and material he gathered from the Yoda baby back to the Imperial fleet in the unknown regions to bring back Palpatine for episode 9. We know from various leaks and such that Palpatine wanted to have the last bit of the Empire hide out in the unknown regions and amass power once again, and also allegedly Palpatine's spirit or something of the sort has been drifting in the unknown regions amassing power of his own, enough to possibly inhabit a clone body. This is a bit of a stretch, I know. I also know I've said before that I really hope Palpatine isn't a clone in episode 9, but if they're able to do the clone thing right, unlike Legends, like I think they might be setting up for The Mandalorian, I might be okay with Palpatine coming back as a clone. Although, I should also mention that from the promotional art we've seen, and the final trailer for The Rise of Skywalker, it appears as if Palpatine is coming back in his original body from Return of the Jedi, or at least coming back with the same face. In one of the posters, we can clearly see his wrinkly old face and yellow Sith eyes, and in the final Episode 9 trailer, we see the corner of his hood and a flash of his hand. So far, I think it looks like he's coming back as we remember seeing him, so that could make the clone theory fall apart, but honestly anything is possible right now. I really do hope though that The Mandalorian continues to explore the inner workings of midichlorians, even though that's something a lot of people didn't like in The Phantom Menace. I think it could be interesting in this format, and especially in this context. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this new Episode 9/Mandalorian theory. I'd love to know what you think of it down in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video, as those really do help a small channel like this, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Outer Rim Cantina content in your subscription feeds every week. If you want even more Star Wars goodness in your life, I've got a brand new Jedi Fallen Order playthrough episode releasing later today at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope to see you back here in the Cantina for that, and on Thursday for more Star Wars videos. Until then, may the Force be with you.